everything is rubbish and everything in...
See, no one said that the electorate is bad. The tragedy is that the people are essentially good, but the representatives, the so-called representatives, they are not their true representatives. And therefore, the need for electoral reforms to ensure that the people are really represented by their true representatives. So, what are the electoral reforms needed? That is why, you see, everyone knows so many things which have been recommended from time to time. But how to implement them, unless, you see, in the present setup, that really is the question.
In fact, I would like to have your views, suggestions of people about an action committee to ensure timely implementation of reforms. What should be the composition of the action committee? What should be aims, objectives, methods? That's important. Some people say we know all this. Take a simple reform suggested that make a person who is facing a criminal trial and charges will be freed by court. Simple. Everyone has recommended this for years. Why has it not been enacted? Why not concentrate on that? There must be some method, some action committee. What? I'm not very clear. That's why I wanted to discuss this. That's why I spoke my thoughts, to get some information, some illumination from you. Simple reform. Take this. 50 reform hai dusra. They may be difficult, right to recall and right to reject, they may be controversial. How can this be controversial? The man with a criminal record, a colorful criminal record, against whom a court of law has framed charges, should be ineligible for election. Why can't you amend the Representation of People Act? Doesn't require amendment of the Constitution. Answer this question. Put it yourself.
You know, state funding of election, as I tried to explain, will not work because bulk of the expenditures at the time of elections are illegal expenditures. So state funding can only be up to the election expenditure limit, but what is spent, like for instance now the election expenditure limit is going to go up to 50 lakhs, but what people are spending in parliamentary elections is perhaps 10 crores and more. So bulk of the funds that will come will be illegal because you only can get 50 lakhs. Enforcement is the real problem, and you know, when people are spending 10 crores and you're not able to enforce that they've spent only 50 lakhs, then what will happen to the remaining 9.5 crores that will come from illegal funds? So that's why state funding will work only if democracy is strengthened, and that's what I have a suggestion. If we identify the worst candidate in a constituency and we all campaign against that person, then maybe it's possible. But otherwise I don't know how it will be possible.
Well, Shantilal Chaplot, ex-speaker Rajasthan Vidhan Sabha. Sir, how can we stop nepotism and criminalization of politics? How can we stop nepotism and criminalization of politics?
As a voter, don't vote.
Excuse me. I'm a law student from Punjab, Addl and Punjab, and my question is that do you think that the judiciary should be included in the Lokpal bill? Because everybody is talking about that the judiciary has to be made accountable.
Them compromise the independence of the judiciary. But that of course is a separate topic by itself.
Sir, my name is Uday Prakash Varunjikar. I am practicing at Mumbai. I am having a question to the dais. Don't you think that some time-bound program should be given for disposal of the election trials? I am having the experience. I have appeared for the elected candidate. I have appeared for the defeated candidate also. And ordinarily in all those cases, the experience is this. We get an instruction from our respective client. Please try to kill the time so that this term will be over. Take a case that the case is decided by the trial court. The appeal court will take at least few more years. by that time the term will be over. Don't you think, this is a question to Divan, don't you think that there should be some time-bound schedule for disposal of the election tax?
But there is some provided in the Act. But I'm sure the dutiful lawyer will carry up the instructions of that, I suppose, and see to it did it as far as possible, which what lawyers do, then there where the matter ends. There are time limits provided, but the trouble is because of various reasons, mainly because of pressure of work, it's never done. Many times I have noticed when the election petition comes up, the judges say 4.5 years are gone, elections are around the corner, why go into it? That's unfortunately a matter of a judicial reform. It happens, you're right.
Hello, sir. I'm Nitin Patil from Bombay High Court. I have some suggestions here also. Reason for the corruption is the systematic failure of the government policies. We can say that government policies create scope for the corruption. I believe that most of us honest till we get the chance to be dishonest. I think it is futile to expect that one enactment will make people honest overnight. I suggest we should adopt simple and effective steps so as to curb out the corruption. Every time we concentrate on the dishonest person, but no one is saying about the honest person. Therefore, I have some suggestions. So far as the honest person is concerned, the public body or authority should give some incentive or awards to that public servant, so that he will not do some corruptive things in during his course of service. Second one is the restriction with the cash transactions in the property matters or all these things. And third one is most of the time no one is declaring about their bank accounts in the foreign countries. Therefore, we should make it compulsory to declare their bank accounts. And next one is in Benami transactions, there are the general power of attorneys that should be made compulsory. That should be given to the family members. That's all.
Thank you. Just wait till you get on mic. I don't think you can hear you.
I know 1 million. I know the views are there. Don't accept it. Suppose so why is this? I need your views. Your written book. Suppose this criminal antecedent of a candidate is concerned. I know the view of everyone, but except you. What are your views?
You know, in a democracy, everybody has a right to stand, including somebody with a criminal background. The question is, why does the public elect? Because that's what democracy is all about. So my idea is that if one chief minister who's prosecuted vacates the chair and his wife ascends that chair, then he'll have contempt for democracy. If people are electing such people, these people will come. Therefore, in a sense, without strengthening democracy, many of the things that are being said will not work. Because we can have wonderful laws, we can debar various people, but new people with criminal background, they'll come up all the time. So that's why my idea is that there is no shortcut but to strengthen democracy, for which people have to become conscious. And that requires movements. And without movements, it will not happen.
He wants to know whether you are in favor of the view the person who is being charged, against whom a charge has been framed by the court for a criminal offence which carries a penalty, imprisonment of 5 years or more, should be eligible for election.
Okay. Now, there also, I would suggest that because the cases go on, and there can be false cases also against people, and that is why...
No, framed by court. Framed by court. Not charge sheet by CBI or FIR. Framed by court.
But the point is that the case is going on, whether he will be prosecuted, he will not be prosecuted, we don't know. And that's why my thing is, the electorate has to stand up. Once the electorate stands up and rejects these people, that is when the real test will be.
Yes, and
One answer to this question.
wait,
I have one answer to this question.
that's all.
For 1 minute, sir.
No. See, yes, gentlemen.
So develop in each and every individual of this nation, the corruption will end automatically, because the law takes its own course, and it's a lengthy process. But we have, for a national character, to build a national character, if self-culture is developed in each and every individual, then the things will end.
One point, that was down in interruption. You are right. There is a law which says election expenses should not be more than 50 lakhs. Correct. That's precisely the point. Strict implementation of the law. Because the law is not implemented, rule of law itself falls into disrepute. And people have no respect for it. So really implementation is correct. No question about it.
Now we are running out of time. Just one. So just one more question, because we have already run out of time.
So,
yes,
thank you very much, sir. So my specific question to Professor Anil Kumar. We have seen that a person who is member of parliament, he also stands for an assembly. And if he gets elected in assembly, he resigns from assembly seat and a new election is held in that particular segment. And which imposes a lot of burden on government or state to rehold the election. So there is a need to prevent all these things, that a person who is already a member of parliament or member of legislative assembly, he should not be allowed to contest when he is sitting as a MP or MLA to contest the another election in the same tenure.
My quick response to that is, let's not build artificial walls to try and strengthen democracy. We need to strengthen democracy through the people and having rules. But the point here is that if you look at the total expenditure on an election, say a national election, that will come to roughly 0.1% of the total size of black economy. It's not a huge sum as far as the size of the GDP is concerned or black economy is concerned. So expense is not really the thing. What we need, a properly functioning democracy will give us 100 times greater return. So let's try and strengthen democracy and not build artificial rules about who can contest from where, etc. Because those can be misused and democracy can weaken in that.
Thank you very much. It's been a very lively session, and the questions and answers were also very educative. Thank you.
Friends, with this we come to end of the first session on the point of view for effective and adequate elected reforms to curb the flow of black money. I want to thank our chairperson of the session, Justice Verma, and the other panelists, Mr. Soli J, Mr. P.P. Rao, and Professor Kumar. Please join us for lunch in the Silver Room.